I mean, seriously, who has Pitbull as their walk-up music? That was really awesome. I may get really choked up as I go on this. I don't really have much of a speech. I don't have a speech, but I have a shitload to say. But I'm not going to go political. That was handled earlier. But EK, man, there was a line in a movie that said, I thought it was great because it reminded me of our relationship, and that is, you're more than a brother and less than a wife. And that video, it was great. I mean, Gil Boggs, my winemaker, Jordan. Is Gil here today? Gil actually danced at the American Ballet Theater with Baryshnikov. You know, we really hit it off early on because I was an old Chippendale dancer. So we had a lot in common. Peter D called me, I don't know how long ago, 3 or 4 months ago, and told me I was getting this amazing award. And all I could think of when I was like listening to him, I was just like, in my head, I'm like, I'm so grateful that I'm involved with this industry. It's my life and it's my world. And I just love everything about this business. I love the history. I love the people. I love the technical challenges that are so difficult. I love the idea that we can like really help the world. I like the idea that we can like find buried treasure. I just think it is like the best business. I've always loved it, and I don't ever think, I have this incredibly romantic vision of the oil and gas business, which I think is earned, and I think it's real. And that's a business where deals are done with a handshake. And if you're down, your buddy helps you up. And you know what? You could wake up tomorrow and you could be completely like over the top, big rich, or you could be like down in the dumps. But that is a fun business to be involved with. You know, my heroes have always been wildcatters. And the recipients of this award in the past, I think there's 35 of them. I've actually done deals with 28 of the 35. You know, it's Court Dietler, Fred Mayer. I could go on and on. Ray Duncan, Jim Wallace, one of my heroes of my life. I mean, just the greatest people I have ever met. And most of the deals were dry holes, but we don't talk about that. Anyway, it has been an amazing career with so many incredibly awesome memories. And let me just tell you a couple of quick stories. Because I could go on. I mean, Sally told me tonight I had 10 minutes. Are you kidding me? 10 minutes? God! Only 10 minutes, because I could go on for an hour or more, easily. But let me just tell you a couple of quick stories from different chapters of my career. And I hope you guys can appreciate these. One of the first deals I ever did, I was 25 years old, I was fresh on my own, and I was pitching this lousy ass freaking DJ Basin deal. And I go to Houston and I meet with one of the world's most famous wildcatters, a guy named Mike Halbouty. I mean, they literally wrote a book about him called Wildcatter. So I'm in the meeting and I was almost done with my pitch, and Mike starts getting agitated and he starts going, F you, F you, F you. And I'm thinking, oh my God, this is like one of the legends of the business. It is literally screaming profanities at me in the meeting. And I'm thinking to myself, what do you say to this? So I go, Mike, you can't talk to me that way. Anyway, after a couple of minutes, he calms down, and I go, Mr. Halbouty, I've been such a fan of yours. I read your book, and I just can't believe this meeting went this way. And he goes, you read my book? I said, yeah. I'll take your deal. Another quick one, this is when I was in my 40s. And you guys have all heard about Tiger Mike Davis, right? He's a Denver guy. Liz and I were in Las Vegas, and we had just had this huge blowout in California. And Tiger wanted to buy it from me. So wifey and I go to the high stakes blackjack table at the Bellagio at 2 a.m. And Tiger's there, and he says to me, Bill, I want this deal. And I'm not talking about chicken spit money, you sock sucker. Actually, he didn't say it exactly that way. Anyway, Liz and I laughed hard over that one. And we sat there from 2 a.m. to 3 a.m. while Tiger Mike lost $250,000 in cash at the blackjack table. Absolutely nuts. Just a couple of years ago, now I'm probably 60 at this point, and I was in Dallas, and one of my all-time great friends and legendary Wildcatter, Boone Pickens. I go to see him. He had just had a stroke. This is probably a month before he passed away. And I go to see him, and I'm like, Boone, how you doing, man? I just love you so much, and what's happened? And he goes, Bill, I have this deal for you. It's in the Granite Wash. You're gonna love it. And I'm thinking to myself, are you kidding me? This 91-year-old guy, this Wildcatter, this legendary Wildcatter, is pitching me this shitty deal. But damn it, I love that about him. I could go on and on. I could go on and on with stories all night long about how incredibly awesome this business is, because it is all about swashbuckling, fun people. You know, being a Wildcatter is not for the faint of heart. I mean, I'm not sure if you guys all know this, but I mean, seriously, when you know going in to a deal, you've done all the hard work, you've done the creative work, you've worked up the geology, you've worked up the geophysics, you've done your engineering, you've done the land work, you've done the legal work, you've raised the money to drill this well, and then after all of that, 90% of the time, it's a dry hole. And a dry hole is not a dry, it is like 100% loss of your money. I mean, the idea that you could find people that would do this with you and then come back the next day and say, that was a hell of a shot, let's do it again. It really is an amazing kind of mentality about life. You know, there's an old cliche that I think is probably overused, but I'm going to say it tonight, and that is, life is more about the journey than the destination. And I want to thank my teammates that have decided to join me on this ridiculous journey with me. Ike said that I used to ask my people to take a pay cut before they came on board working for me. And of course, I promised them the hopes of a lot of upside. My thought was, you know, if I'm going to jump out of an airplane without a parachute, you know, I don't have any family money, I don't have some moneyed, deep-pocketed backer, I don't have some cushy private equity guy, making sure that things work out. We were all jumping out of the airplane together with no chute, and all our hope was on our ideas and our ingenuity and the drill bit. And they all jumped on board, and I've been with them, and I cannot tell you how much the vast majority of these guys spent their entire careers, or most of their entire careers with me, and I get choked up saying it, but guys, I cannot tell you, this is my group right here, and I cannot thank you guys enough. It has been amazing. You've been unbelievable travel partners and an incredible journey, and I just want to say I love you all. And most of all, I want to thank wifey. Liz, you've been my best friend for 41 years. I'm not gonna make it through this. You've been my wife for 37 years. You've been my business partner for 35, and I'm a super lucky guy. I have had so many incredible breaks in my entire life. I mean, but the biggest break that happened to me was freshman year, SMU, 8 a.m. class, Geology 101, I meet Liz. And you've been my partner ever since, and it's really weird. I would come home at night. Liz is a really good geologist. I would come home at night, she's been like battling kids and all the day-to-day problems that happen, and we'd sit at the dinner table, and she would just love hearing about my deals. She would love hearing about, talk about weird, we'd get excited about isopac maps and like bright spots in seismic. And honey, I'm so appreciative of the fact that you were never afraid, ever, of what we did. I mean, we bet our net worth how many times? A dozen, 2 dozen? And you were in for the party. You were all in. And I appreciate you so much. And it was just amazing. All right, I'm gonna wrap this up. Okay, that took me up. You know, there's an old saying that young people dream of being rich, and rich people dream of being young. And I'm not really sure how rich I am, but I can tell you this, I really want to be young. Because this is the greatest time to be alive in the history of the world. The world is safer, it's cleaner, it's more free, it's more open. It is the greatest time in the history of humanity to be alive. I don't care what you read in the New York Times or the internet, but this is an amazing, amazing time to be alive. And every one of us in this room have a really, really large hand in this fantastic time to be alive, because we're providing a fantastic resource that is wanted and needed, cheap, reliably, and cleanly for the world. So, with that, I want to raise a glass to this world-class wine. Let's raise a glass to Wildcatters.
You're here.
Let's raise a glass to this marvelous industry which we're all involved with. Let's raise a glass to the incredible partners that travel with us in our life. And let's keep making the world an incredibly better place. Thank you.